Well, good morning. It being close to Valentine's Day, I thought we might make some Valentine's cookies. I forgot my pad. I always forget something, don't I? Well, we'll leave that right there for right now because we don't need it until we get all this mixed. Now, these are actually going to be not real sweet cookies, but like semi-sweet cookies. You can put frosting on them or you don't have to. I thought I'd put a little bit of frosting on part of them. And see how they look, and then decide if I want to frost all of them. Get all of my ingredients out here. I don't know what I'd think if I was completely prepared for a video. First of all, before you even get started, you need to preheat your oven for 375. If you have it, you can line your cookie sheets with parchment paper. If not, just oil your cookie sheets the best you can. Just grease them a little bit. Either way will work fine. I've got the parchment paper, so that's what I'm using. First of all, we melted a half a cup of butter. Put that right in there. And I need a spatula, I guess. Get all that butter out of there. Because you'd be surprised the amount of butter that's left on the sides of your container. So that's a half a cup of butter, melted butter, 1/2 cup of shortening, which I've got softened. We're going to put 1 cup or half a cup of white sugar, just white granulated sugar. We're going to put 1 cup of powdered sugar or confectionery sugar. Some people call it powdered sugar, some people say confectionery. It's the same thing. Oops. But measure out a cup. And that's a cup right there. Let's see what else. I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. You can use 1 teaspoon of almond extract if you have it. And then put 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I don't have almonds, so I'm just going to put 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Which will work just fine. I'm going to put in 1 egg. And I'm just going to mix that around a little bit before I put my flour in there. To make sure I get that egg broken down. Now I'm using self-rising flour, so I don't really need salt or baking powder. But I always like to add just a little bit of salt, just for me. Now I'm going to get a spoon, or a wooden spoon will work. And now I'm going to put 2.5 cups of flour. And like I said, I've got self-rising flour, so I don't have to add baking soda or baking powder. I'm going to take my wooden spoon and stir it. And it's kind of thick. I mean, it's going to make like a dough. And then I'm going to use a half teaspoon, or maybe a whole teaspoon of food coloring. And I'm putting red in there because these are going to be Valentine cookies. No, that's not quite. A little more, because that was not quite. I'll probably use all of what's in this little container. Because I want them red. And it's a real thick dough. You just have to work it. You may even want to get your hands in it. I think I'm going to have to get my hands in it because it's really too thick to try to work it like this much, if I don't make a mess with it. It's almost the consistency of Play-Doh, basically. If you've got a man in the house, you might want him to do this. It'll get kind of crumbly looking, and we may have to add just a little bit more oil. Now I'm going to have to add just a little bit of oil, so I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. Not much. Maybe a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. And they're actually going to be pink, not red. Well, it's a little bit dry for some reason. I think I'm going to have to put just a little bit of water in there because this is too crumbly. I want a dough. I don't want crumbles. I made these before, but it's been a long time ago. But it's supposed to form a ball, a dough ball. And I haven't got it to the consistency of a dough ball yet. Not quite. It's getting there. Put in a couple more tablespoons. Maybe that'll work. Because you want it the consistency of a kind of a stiff dough. You don't want it crumbles. If you want a darker cookie, like a real deep red cookie, you need to add more food coloring. And I may do that because this is about empty anyway. Need to buy new food coloring. But you got to work it till it forms a dough ball. You don't want it sticking to your hands. Don't put that much water in there, but you need to loosen it up enough that it will form a dough ball. And it should not even stick to the bowl at all. And I've just about got it to that consistency. I'm just trying to work in the rest of that food coloring. So we're going to end up with pink cookies because I don't have enough of the food coloring to make it a deep red. And that's okay. Pink is for Valentine's too, so. You can leave them white if you want, and you could put food coloring in the icing that you put on them if you want to put the icing on there. But you can see it's not sticking to the bowl. I'm trying to turn the bowl up so you can see it's not sticking to the bowl, and it's a doughy, moist, wet ball. You should end up with a dough ball about like that. And you can see it did not stick to the bowl at all because of the oil and the butter. So just be careful if you have to add a little water to soften the dough ball up, because you don't want to put so much it makes it watery. You want a good thick dough ball. Now, I need to move some of this stuff out of the way. Because we need to put our mat down. I'm going to put a mat down so if I need to roll them out any, I can. I want to clean my hands off just a tiny bit. And yeah, I've got my little bit of that. Now I'm going to put my mat down, and I don't even really need the whole mat, but I'm going to put it down just because it's an easy cleanup. Just in case I need to roll the cookies a little bit. Take one of my pans and put it over here. Well, I need both of them because my pans are getting a little warm sitting up on the stove. I'm going to put a little bit of flour down in case I need it. Now, I'm going to pinch about a tablespoon of dough, just like that, about a tablespoon, and I'm going to roll it And I only put the flour down there in case I need to roll it out on the flour. Probably put way too much flour down. Move some of it over a little. And that's just to get an even roll with it. I want it evenly rolled. And then we start shaping it in a heart. I hope you can see that. And they're not going to be perfect, but you don't have to be perfect. Well, I probably should have put them over here on the mat to do it. I mean, on the pan to do it instead of the... They're a little tricky. But you just basically shape them into a heart. You might need to work your little dough ball a little bit. And then roll it out. And this time I'm going to put it on the pan to form it into a heart. I'm not going to leave it on the board because it'll stick and break apart. Leave your cookies about 1 inch apart. And they're not going to be perfect. But they're going to be cute little hearts. You might end up with one bigger than the other. And that's okay. It takes a little time to do these, so these are specialty cookies. They're not just cookies you probably would fix just every day. And like I said, you have to work with them a little bit. And the good thing about this dough when you make it. You can make a lot of different shapes with it. Make it till it's about, I don't know, 7 or 8 inches long. You don't want it too long, but and like I said, it's about the consistency of Play-Doh. So you might want to let your kids in on this. Maybe not on the mixing of them, but on the baking of them. I mean, making them into hearts. The kids would probably get a kick out of it. And like I said, they don't have to be perfect. And I use the ends to form the top of the heart. You can make fat hearts, you can make skinny hearts. That was not quite good. And it's forgiven if you mess one up. You can always just kind of squeeze the dough together and form it again. Just squish it in your hands like you would Play-Doh. Have fun with it. Then roll it out. They're really not as hard as you might think to make. I pinched the bottom of it for the point. It just takes a little while. You got to be patient. Just try to keep the roll even. You don't want one side fat and one side skinny. You want it all relatively even to make your hearts. Now, if I took a lot more time, I could make them perfect. But for the video, I don't want you to watch me all day trying to roll these things. But the size hearts that I'm making, you should be able to get 12 to a pan. Take your time shaping them a little bit because it'll pay off in the end. Don't try to rush it. Have plenty of time to make these. And I'm hoping they turn out okay. I may have to use more than 2 pans. I'm making mine about 2 hands wide. That's how long the roll is. And it may break apart, but just like Play-Doh, put it back together. But if you try to measure out 2 teaspoonfuls or a tablespoon to each cookie, that's what I've got, a tablespoon. I'm just using it as a scoop. And I'm measuring out 1 tablespoon for each cookie. Some may get just a little bit fatter than the others. I mean, sometimes you can't get perfect, but I got that one a little bit far over. Too close really to the other cookies, so I'm going to move it just a tiny bit. I used to make shape cookies to take to school when I was grade mother for the kids at school. But see that? Isn't that pretty? I got a pan full of hearts. We're going to work on another pan. So that's 12. This will probably be 24. I used to enjoy being room mother for the kids at school. Because years ago when my kids were in school, they loved it that I did their parties and field trips and stuff like that. I made an Easter egg cake one year and took it to their classroom at Easter time. That was kind of fun. turn this one the opposite way. And that's the good thing about these. If you don't fit them in with enough space, turn one way, you can flip them upside down and do one the opposite way. Aren't we having fun making Valentine's cookies? This one was kind of coming apart. If it breaks apart anywhere, just pinch it back together. It'll be okay. Like I said, they don't have to be perfect. Need to speed up a little bit. I'm going kind of slow. But I've made candy canes, all kind of stuff with this recipe. And like I said, you can frost them or not. It doesn't matter. Oop, that one's getting crumbly. Let me work with it a little bit. Yeah, still is. If it starts getting crumbly, just work with it till you soften it back up. Like I said, just pretend it's Play-Doh. I just dropped some in the floor, I think. I hope they don't go together. They might. Got those a little close. Let's see if I've got another pan. Well, I'll get these in the oven. And we're only going to cook them for like about 9 minutes, because it doesn't take long. We don't want them to burn. Check my time up there. Okay, about 1 minute till I can take them down, and I'm going to get me another pan of some kind. Let's see. I'm going to use a pizza pan. Just fold those corners in. Well, you can make a cookie sheet out of anything. This is not going to take many of them. I mean, I've only got a few left in here. And I want to keep an eye on the clock up there, because my hands are too messy to try to set the timer. Work this dough a little bit. Got 2 more cookies. I mean, they might start getting, the dough might start, you know, kind of getting crumbly as you work with it, but like I said, just work with it a little bit and it'll go right back to the consistency that you need it to be. Oops. I gotta check on my cookies because I can smell them. Ooh, they looking good. We'll put them out here on this table. Put those in there in just a minute. Now, confectionery sugar. Now, I'm not going to make a ton of icing. I'm going to get 2 heaping spoonfuls of confectionery sugar. I'm going to put in about 1/4 of a tablespoon of lemon extract. And about, not quite, about 1/4 of a cup of, teaspoon of milk. Because it doesn't take much, and I'll just keep adding milk and a little bit of vanilla until I start seeing that it's kind of an icing type consistency. Ooh, they got a cool. I mean, they don't get brown or anything. You don't want them browned. Just leave them in there for like 9 to 10 minutes. And I'm gonna have to put a little bit more milk in there. Let's see. Just put a little dab will do you until you get it to the consistency that you want it. And I want it to kind of like almost a drip consistency. Now you can use any kind of milk to do this. You don't have to use evaporated milk. And I'm just going to drizzle a little bit on my cookie. Doesn't take much. And I could probably use the spoon a little bit better now. Normally I would wait till they completely cool off. I'm not doing a very good job of putting icing on them, am I? There, that was the way it was supposed to go. Kind of in the shape of a heart. I don't want much on there because I don't want them real sweet. A little bit of this confectionery sugar goes a long way. And like I said, they don't have to be perfect. Some of it will drip down the sides, and that's okay. And there's a pan of them. They're still warm, but I've got the icing on them. And like I said, you don't want much icing on them at all. I think those might be about done. Whoops. I like to dump the pan on them. A few more minutes and they'll be okay. I may have to make up some more icing. But just drizzle your icing on. You don't need a whole lot. Really doesn't matter what it looks like because it's going to melt. It'll run down the sides anyway. Yeah, I'm going to have to make up some more of that. Oh, a few more minutes. And I may just go ahead and completely cover my cookies. I mean, it's real easy to mix up a little bit more. And you know that lemon extract kind of turns your icing kind of yellow. Yeah, I'm not going to put any more on them because I don't want them too sweet. Got it on my fingers. Let's see what I can put that one on. I need to cook a little bit more for some reason. But let's see if one of these is cooled enough that I can pick it up. Yep, there you go. Get closer to the camera so you can see. There's my cookie. And you can see they're not browned on the back. They're slightly browned. But there is my little Valentine's cookie with just enough icing on it for it to be good. I didn't want so much on there that it was going to over sweeten it. I'm going to take a bite. Those are good. Really good. I'm in my happy place. They have been in there a good 9 minutes. Turn my oven off. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it on there while they're hot. It'll just drizzle down the sides of them. Like I said, you don't want too much on there because you don't want them over sweetened. The cookie's going to be sweet already. Just put it on there and let it drizzle down. And like I said, some of it will drizzle right down onto the paper, but that's okay, because you don't want them overly sweetened with the icing anyway. You just want a touch of that icing on there. Going to use up the rest of this icing. It's not much in here. And there we go. I gotta eat the rest of my cookie. It's almost to like a wafer consistency when you go to eat it, when it's cooled off. That's good, y'all. Make you some Valentine cookies. They're real easy. They just take a little bit of time. And the icing will dry and set kind of hard. So after they cool off completely, you can take them off of your pan and you can put them in like a cookie jar or serve them on a cookie plate or however you want to do them. That's really good, y'all. Now I got all these Valentine cookies. I'm going to have to give some to my son, I guess. It's good. But if you want a cookie that's not overly sweet, this is what you need to do. Make you one of these. And with that, I'm going to wish you a happy Valentine's Day in a couple of weeks. But I wanted to show you in plenty of time how to make your heart Valentine cookies. So if you wanted to make some with your kids, you could make them. So y'all have a blessed day. See you on my next one. Bye now.